Well, well, well. Look what's on the bench today. Not one, but two 6L80s. Not surprised. Let's see what we got going on today. So this one is the Tahoe. This is a 16 Tahoe. Complaining of shuddering, slipping sensations. They drove it out of town, came back, and it started acting up on them. They have not done any fluid services to it. There's the fluid there, and it just started acting up kind of out of the blue. And then this one is a 19 Silverado. Both are 5.3s, both are four-wheel drive. This one's got close to 200K on it. This one's got like 116 on it. This one, the client did a fluid service on it because it started acting up. They changed the fluid and filter. They said there was metal in the pan, but they went ahead and serviced it. And he said it got a little better, but it's still acting up. And we checked it out, and it was progressively getting worse and worse as we drove it. So let's see what the recently serviced transmission looks like, and let's see what the not serviced but just started acting up transmission looks like. There you go. See the metal there? That is the typical 6L80 converter failure. And this is why you should never, ever, ever, ever just put a converter in a 6L80 that's having problems. They all do this, every one of them. I have not seen one yet that does not make metal like this when it goes bad. Alright, and just for grins here, let's yank this one apart. This one has an odor to it, like a burnt odor. And this one was just serviced and cleaned out. And it's not heavily metal because they did clean the metal out of it, but this is what happened after the service. Something burned up. My bet is the 456 clutch. That's usually the casualty. Like I said, they literally serviced this. I mean, the day before they brought it to us, they probably put 10-15 miles on it. And so this is what happened in the aftermath. And again, why I don't recommend servicing these things or trying to help them along, because they're gonna fail. The metal's in the unit, it's floating around inside there. It's gonna stick a valve or cause a pressure loss somewhere, and then there she goes. And you're kind of throwing good money after bad money doing that. You're kind of gambling, and a lot of times with transmissions, gambling does not pay off. Oh, put my socket away. Got everything ready except for that socket. Guess we can do these side by side and just do them at the same time. How much fun would that be? See, that's why you don't do them side by side, because metal body. We do that. This one, like I said, 456. You can see it through the drum. It's black, burnt, stinky. These are probably still not burnt, but they are contaminated. Let's see what we got going on. Just 3.5 reverse, not burn up. Not sick, but not well. And so on the bottom of this drum, oh, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4. Got a little heat in there. So you got one clutch there. Now the middle of the pack is taking most of the hit, so we got some slippage happening here, and it's burnt. When we take, I won't take this drum apart right now, but when we take it apart, a lot of the metal will congregate in the bottom of this drum, and it gets really gross whenever you take it apart. You can see here, plenty of metal. You gotta clean all this stuff out. This is metal. And so you gotta make sure it's cleaned out when you rebuild these things, or else it could break loose and cause issues. We don't want issues. Alright, this one was still driving, but making all kinds of shuttery 6L80 things happening. So let's see what we got. Turn here. 3.5 reverse. And 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what a good pack looks like versus the burnt pack. And 4, 5, 6s. You can see this is the material in these things are pretty tough. This is tough, very tough friction, but you can tell this has been slipped. As you can see, is this colored there? You can see the color difference between these, and you can see there's coming apart a little bit too. A lot of stress on these clutches, so they're not in good health. These are absolutely, if those are stressed, these are beyond dead. See them? Yeah, there you go. Not much friction left. What do you think? Much friction there? Oh, a little bit of friction. Yeah, metal to metal. Burnt right off the bone. And they're all warped and waved. Watch this. There you go. Should not be doing that. Oh boy. It's an intermediate shaft. Sometimes these will break off here. And you gotta watch. I'm gonna clean these up. Metal. This is why I don't just put a converter in it, because there's so much metal inside these units after the converter fails that you're just shooting yourself in the foot by just dumping a new converter in there and some fluid and hoping for the best. But if you're a gambler, I mean, go for it. Personally, I'm not much of a gambler. One quick motion. 2 6 clutches here. Not terrible, but again, you know the drill. And metal will conglomerate underneath the pistons here also. Got to take those apart, get all the metal out. Sometimes the metal will impregnate itself in these bushings here. You can see the etching where the metal's passed through the loop circuit. It's the low reverse clutch. It's the one way it's holding. And then we got the planetary. And that is everything out of the case. Let's get the other one apart, and then I want to show you inside the pump, because that is an important place. Look at all that metal. Intermediate shaft. And one swift motion. Alright. Deja vu. 2/6 clutch. Yep. I know. And low reverse. One way. Do not push here. Thanks for the instructions. Yeah, when you're taking it apart, you can't push on the outside because that will actually break this brag or bend this race here. Just a little tip. Planetary out. Ring gear. Let you drain. Alright. Let's look at the pumps. Pump it up. Get out of my way. You ever do that again? So no, I don't recommend servicing these things when they're acting up, but I don't really mind that you did because it does help with the cleanup process. Clean fluid and really moves that metal around and kind of flushes it out of the system a little bit for me. So cleanup's a little bit easier. But that's your money. Personally, I wouldn't do it. Okay. Tahoe, no service. Pump out. It's not terrible. Not as bad. So this is what happens. You don't run it. They just started happening problems. They stopped. Brought it to us. Pump's not completely screwed up. You can't even feel it there. You can see a little bit of scratching going on. We can check our PR valve also. This is the one they kept driving until it stopped almost. Well, make me eat my words, huh? Typically, these things are eat up bad. This is very... I guess I need to play the lottery because finding two 6L80 stators that don't have grooves cut into them is rare. But I can see that PR valve though. Look at that. You can see it already. Do this here. Nice. Nope. Be a pain in the butt. How about you? You played nice. Don't lose that pen. All right. Now this PR valve almost looked good until I did this. There's the issue there. Worn PR valve. Let's check this one out. There we go. There it goes. Don't lose the pen. Don't lose the pen. And nope. Ew. Now look. Got the difference in where they wore at. Isn't that weird how they wear differently sometimes depending on the failure? But yeah, that thing's got a nice ledge built into it there. We'll have to inspect this PR bore a little carefully. Typically you can put a drop-in valve that's got a much longer lands on it to seal in the unworn areas of the pump stator, but when it's like this, that's really rough. It's bad. And so we'll have to really inspect that bore and see if oversized might be a better option in this case. But we'll see. But yeah, 2 worn PR valves. Add them to the collection. Nothing really else. We can check these pump pockets real quick and see if we got anything happening down there. Fall in a hole. Let's see. Metal in there. So what happens is that the metal comes out of the converter. So the converter's failing, metal comes out of the converter, and it'll go 2 different ways. It'll come back through the pump. Well, as you can see there, we've got some scarring there. Hear it? You can hear it with the screwdriver. So that's metal running through there. We got to get that machined. And then you can see this bushing, maybe. Yep. I don't know if my glasses will pick it up, but there's, see the metal embedded in this bushing? Again, that's why, oh no. That's why we don't just put converters in. There's always little booby traps of metal in these things. And this is specifically to the 6L80. Other ones, I have not seen other converters fail quite on the scale these ones do and in the way these do. So what I'm saying is specifically for the 6L80 right now, so don't come at me about every transmission on the market. That's got a little bit, not terrible, but you can see it's got some, here a little bit there, and a little bit of metal in the bushing, not a ton. So yeah, okay. All right, let's do bonus round. Bonus round. Pull the valve body apart, Robert. Okay, if you ask, I'll do it. So we talk about that metal, and we'll just keep beating that dead horse. And now, typically when I see a burnt 456, not every time, we'll have a stuck compensator valve in the valve body. And I know we'll have some kind of metal debris in our Tecum. This is the Tecum here. They call it the Tecum. Is the hydro electric version. It's got all the solenoids in it, and it's got the actual computer brain. Yep, you heard that right. They put the computer inside the transmission. And so this is all one unit here. And look at that. A bit more metal. And if you look at these screens here, that one's actually broken. So much metal clogged it up. And so these screens are supposed to prevent debris from getting in the solenoids. And this one has ruptured, and now there's debris that's flowing through that solenoid. And so this is the computer part here, all of our solenoids here, and this is our neutral safety switch or range sensor, and these little pressure switches here. And the films will actually break also and cause pressure switch code. So if you get a pressure switch range performance, sometimes it can be one of these little pressure switches. But you can see the metal hanging out in there. We don't want the metal on our solenoids. Yep, there. Look at that metal. Shame, shame. Slippery. Okay, and abracadabra. And the compensator valve is here. Of course, everything I say is going to be the opposite because I'm filming it now, but it does not look stuck. Usually they'll stick in the open position. Maybe the new fluid might have helped it unstick it. So look at the metal inside the valve body. I mean, you guys, you can't just put a converter in these things. Look at all this metal. That's transmission. It's transmission kryptonite in there. You can't just leave all that hanging around. So sometimes you can get these little check balls will shrink up and travel. These are all fine. I won't bother pulling that valve body apart because it was not as bad as this one. So you've seen one, you've seen them all. So we got them both torn down, and now I get the monumental task of cleaning all this up. That's my job. So next step, clean all this up, get all my upgraded parts, updated parts. I got the 2 new billet converters coming in for those, and take the rest of this stuff apart. I mean, I got to pull the pistons out of these drums. I got to pull the stator apart, pull this valve body apart, and pull all these little pieces and gadgets and deals out, cogs, and then wash them all up, get all the metal out of them, and then get them on the bench so they're nice and clean, and get them cleaned up. So yeah, this has been 6L80 Double Team with Robert, and thanks for watching, y'all.